guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a pretty new tag, the perfect makeup tag. The first person that I saw do this was Glam by Sam. I will link her video down below. But the creators are Morgan Turner and Patty Alonso. I think I'm saying those names correctly. I will link their videos down below as well. They created 10 questions that you have to answer, like what your perfect makeup products are for those questions. If you guys are watching this, I tag you to do this challenge. It was pretty fun to look through my makeup and find what I think are my perfect makeup products. Starting with the first question, which is which primer creates the perfect base? So I have fairly dry skin, so for me the perfect primer is going to be really hydrating. So I have to go with this one. This is the Hey Honey Relax Honey Soothing Moisturizer. I don't really talk about this a lot on my channel, but this is actually probably the best moisturizer that I have. It's a pretty thick moisturizer and so really hydrating, and then I feel like it gives my face I don't know, it's nice and plump and ready for foundation, and I feel like foundation mixes in really well with this primer. Second question is which foundation gives the perfect finish? I really like a more dewy foundation. I don't really like full coverage. I like sort of buildable, medium coverage. So I went with the Morphe 2 Hint Hint Skin Tint. This is definitely by far my favorite foundation. I feel like it makes my skin look so healthy and hydrated. It makes my skin still look like skin. I feel like when I put this on that my skin still looks like skin, and it just covers all my imperfections without being cakey. A very thin formula, which makes me feel like it just kind of sinks in to my skin instead of sitting over top of my skin. And I also feel like a thick primer with a thin foundation works really well together. The third question is which concealer gives the perfect coverage? For concealer, I want my concealer to have more coverage than my foundation, but I don't want it to look cakey, so I like a dewy concealer. So I go with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. This has such good coverage for what it is. I mean, it's a hydrating concealer, but it is pretty much full coverage, and I would much rather have my concealers be full coverage. That way my foundation's not covering my whole face, but I can just conceal the areas I need to, right under my eyes, my dark circles. I need my concealer to conceal my veins on my eyelids. So I need a concealer that's not going to cake up on me and that has enough coverage to cover all those things without looking cakey, and that's definitely this concealer. The fourth question is which powder gives the perfect blur? I personally prefer to use loose powders because, again, I feel like they're less cakey. I just love the finish a loose powder gives. I'm not super picky on powders. I don't have a lot of them, but the Believe Beauty Matte Blur Powder is definitely my favorite. I don't know, I think because it's a little bit more yellow, I feel like it gives... It's supposed to be translucent, but I definitely think it gives a little bit more coverage than your typical powder. It's not really supposed to have pigment, I don't think, but it does have a little bit of a yellow cast, which I don't think is that bad because it gives me a little bit of extra coverage underneath my eyes, and I also powder right here around my nose and up here. I very lightly powder my whole face, but I prefer these areas to just kind of be left alone. I just mainly need it to powder my under eyes, my chin, and my nose. I'm not super particular on powders, but if I had to pick one, I would definitely pick that one. And sadly, you can only get that one in Dollar General stores, I believe. But if you have a Dollar General near you, I highly recommend checking that out. It is a really nice powder, and they do have it in other shades, I believe. Fifth question is which bronzer has the perfect undertone? So for me personally, I think that a universal bronzer would be the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. The original shade that they have that's just the butter bronzer. I've seen so many different people with so many different skin tones, so many different undertones. I've seen them all use that. I want to say that one definitely is the most universal bronzer. I have mine in the light bronzer, which I think works perfectly for me. It's not too warm, it's not too cool. It's a very neutral. It leans more towards the warm side, but it's a very neutral bronzer. And I feel like all of the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer shades are fairly neutral, and I think that neutral bronzers are probably the way to go, especially if you don't contour. If you contour, you might want a warmer bronzer, but I think that if you don't contour, it kind of does both for you. Like, I don't contour, I contour with my bronzer, and it's not like so crazy pigmented that you can't work with it. It blends in nicely, it's buildable. I just highly recommend that bronzer. The sixth question is, which blush has the perfect shade? So if you guys have been here for a while, you probably know that I used to wear peach blushes like all the time. Why is that so hard to say? I was obsessed with peach blushes, but recently I got this Pat McGrath Divine blush in Paradise Venus, and I realized that I really liked the way like a pink blush looks on me. This is a very like deep pink, but I love the way this looks on me, and I know this is definitely too dark for my skin tone, but more recently when I look at blushes, I don't really look at the peach ones anymore. I look at the more like warm pink, because I realized a warm pink really flatters my skin tone so much more than a peach. And I also used to only wear like matte blushes. I used to really prefer a matte blush. I still have a lot of matte blushes, but this one has like a slight sheen to it on the skin, which gives me a very like healthy glow. Now I went from matte peach blushes to warm pink with a bit of a sheen to them. I definitely prefer the way that looks on my skin. I feel like it makes me look healthier. Question number 7 is, which highlighter has the perfect finish? So as you guys might know, I love my Ofra highlights, but I don't think they're perfect, which is so crazy, but they are very like glittery. I do like a good shiny highlight. Like, I love an intense highlight, but those ones are almost a little bit too glittery. For this video, I was swatching a bunch of highlighters on my hand, and I realized that I definitely like the Soph X Revolution Sugar Frosting highlighters the best, but specifically this one right here. So for me, this highlighter has the perfect amount of like shine and glow without being glittery. Like, it's not glittery, and I feel like once you spray it, it sort of melts into my skin. Like, it's on my nose. I love the way it looks on my nose, nice and like dewy, but it's not too much. It's a really nice glow, but it's intense without being too intense, if that makes any sense. Question number 8 is, which lipstick has the perfect formula? So you guys know that I like a gloss. I really do. I like a good gloss, but I decided to take this question literally with which lipstick, like actual lipsticks, do I think has the perfect formula? And for me, that's definitely the NYX Suede Matte Lipstick, because this is matte without being drying. It has such a creamy and pigmented formula. Like, as you guys can see on my lips, it is matte, but I feel like this lipstick formula is good if you want a matte lipstick, but you don't want something that's so drying. Like, a lot of liquid lipsticks are super drying, and I don't find that this lipstick is drying at all. Yeah, obviously I would prefer to wear a gloss. If I had to pick an actual lipstick, I would definitely pick the NYX Suede Matte Lipstick, because it's soft and creamy and matte without being super drying, and it's not hard. It doesn't like harden on your lips. It just stays creamy the whole time. Question number 9 is, which palette has the perfect shimmers? So I kind of went through and I was looking, trying to find like what shimmers I would probably use regularly. And it has to be the Morphe 35i Icy Fantasy. And the reason is because it has such a unique shimmer formula. So this is the one that I'm wearing on my eyes today. This shade right here, which is called Brilliant. This one and this one and this one are this very unique formula. Can you guys see that? They're like really wet looking glitters. And that is why I like this palette so much for shimmers. If I was gonna pick a shimmer out of a separate palette to add on top of my lid, I would definitely want one of these, because they're almost like toppers. Like, they are so pretty. I love that formula. I wish Morphe would come out with an entire palette of whatever that formula is. They're so glittery and beautiful, and they look so like wet on the eyes. I love this formula. I love the way this looks. I used to wear Brilliant on my eyes just every day. Never seen anything like this in any other palette that I have. And so I'm not one to pick like something super, super shimmery and glittery and intense. But if I was gonna go for a shimmer, like, I would go for this. It's just not intense, but it's so unique and beautiful. I have one more question to answer, and then I want to add my own question here. The 10th question is, which palette has the perfect color story? This one is fairly new to me, but it's the Laura Lee x Aaron Weaver Candy Skies palette. And the reason this one is it is because look at this. I love pastels. If I'm going to do an eye look, it's going to be colorful, and it's probably going to be pastel. This has the most beautiful pastel shades. They are so pigmented, and it's pretty much a pastel rainbow. If I was going to pick my favorite color story, it would be a pastel rainbow. And that's what this palette is. That's what I'm wearing on my eyes today, and I love it so much. You can create so many cute looks with this palette, and I've been using it a lot lately, and this formula of pastels is so good. Like, they are so pigmented. I mean, look, you can see that purple. The purple looks really intense, and it's just a little pastel purple. So the question that I'm going to add is, which eyeliner gives you the perfect wing? And the reason I wanted to add this one is because I just kind of wanted to add my own question to it. So in case anyone actually follows it from this video, I have another question. And like, I love eyeliners. I love doing winged liner. And I feel like a lot of people are just always wondering, like, you know, what's the best eyeliner to make a wing with? More recently, I've been using the Bite Beauty Upswing eyeliner, and I really love this. Like, I definitely think that the Wet n Wild Mega Liner is almost a dupe for this, but this is such a good eyeliner. It's what I'm wearing today. I just feel like it's a really rich matte black, like, if that makes sense. You know, some eyeliners are a little bit watery. They're not like a true black, and I feel like this is like a true matte black, and I think it really adds a lot to my eyes. I also really like the applicator, just a little felt tip, and it's pretty like sturdy, but then the very tip of it is flexible, and I think that makes it really easy to get a good winged eyeliner. I feel like that's the perfect eyeliner to make winged liner with, so I mean, that's what I'm going with. That's the eyeliner I wore today. So yeah. Alright, so that is my perfect makeup tag done. These products I definitely think are perfect for what I use them for on a daily basis. Please make sure to let me know down below if you plan on doing this tag, because it has been a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun looking through my makeup and finding what I think is like perfect. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, don't forget to check out Glam by Sam's video and the creators of this tags videos down below. I will have those all linked down there. I post new videos every single week, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!